This week's book recommendation, a special one for our 50th episode, is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This book has been everywhere lately. Everywhere I go, I seem to find it. And I loved the title. It seemed really cool, so I bought it. After buying it, I realized that it is the winner of the Hugo Award for Best Series. It's a part of a series. It also is constantly listed on fantasy and sci-fi LGBTQ lists. It is such a great book, and it is popping up everywhere I know. So finally, I took it off my shelf and I read it. And let me tell you all, it's amazing. It's so amazing. I don't know if you know this, but I got COVID while traveling. I am vaccinated. I was masking, and it was really hard to have gotten it while I was traveling. I was stuck in a hotel room for a week. I couldn't leave. I couldn't do anything. All I had with me was this book, and I devoured it. I devoured it so quickly. I had to have the manager went out of the hotel and got me more books. If you haven't seen my Patricia Cornwell review, you should go see that. We'll put the show notes in it about the whole story about the manager going out and getting me more books. But this was the first book I read, stuck in a hotel room with COVID, and it made me forget how sick I was and how crappy I felt about the whole situation. Not only that, but it made me feel a little less alone in the world. I know that it's about these aliens traveling through space, but they were queer and they were poly, and they looked at humanity differently in a way that was really beautiful. It was interesting. They're punching holes through the space-time continuum so people can get through like express freeways. It's such a cool concept, and I love all of it because it really felt like a look at how we could accept others as ourselves. A look at how sometimes expansion and capitalism for the sake of it is not great. But it was also just fun. Really cool, weird characters that are, there's a whole race of aliens that look like giant clams and oysters. And they're like really smart and taking over the world. It's just a cool concept. There's a whole concept of people who like have their feathers that are sexual. And there's some cool sexual parts to it. I just loved it. I really loved it. If you can't tell from my voice, I really loved it. It was quirky, it was fun, and I went out and bought all the rest in the series because I know I'm going to devour them. I love a good series. I love a good world building, and this is all of the things I want in a book. It has queer elements. It talks about racial tension. It talks about expansion. It talks about interconnectivity between people. It talks about our own humanity and what it means to be a human. And it's also really entertaining, really fun, and a really cool world that she's built. So I highly, 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 like beyond highly suggest grabbing yourself a copy of The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. And if you want to get yourself a copy, I highly suggest using our bookshop.org link in the bio. Not only does that allow you to buy a book through a small independent bookstore, much better than that big name that we all know, and it also allows you to support the School for Writers podcast. Or if you're more of an audiobook person, I think I'm going to actually listen to some of these on audiobook because the narrator sounds really great and the characters are really cool. If you're an audiobook person like I am, you can use the link in our bio to go to Libro.fm. Libro.fm is a great alternative to that big name audiobook company that we know. Not only does it support independent bookstores, you also own your files, so you can share them if you want. It's an amazing, amazing way to listen to audiobooks. They have a great app for you. They have a membership program just like that big name one. It's a really great alternative and something we highly suggest. And we have a link in the bio for you to get a free audiobook, and we get a free audiobook. So it's a win-win. Go grab yourself a copy from either bookshop.org or Libro.fm of The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. And we have links to that in the show notes.